This is Gabriel Marcotti in Sochi. That thing you see behind me is the Fished Olympic Stadium. A couple hours before kickoff, Spain and Portugal. I think it's fair to say probably the biggest game thus far in the tournament, or certainly of the first set of matches. Spain, of course, rocked by the shock news of Julian Lopetegui leaving, Fernando Hierro taking over. There's been a lot of acrimony, a lot of bile about the decision to send him away after he, of course, agreed terms with Real Madrid. We'll see how it affects the team. I kind of get the sense, having been at the presser yesterday, that these guys are veterans, they're grown up, they're big boys, they're not going to be affected by it. But you do wonder, Sergio Ramos certainly giving the impression that he knew well before Rubiales knew. In fact, he came out, he said, well, sometimes a captain knows more than other people. So watch this space. Personally, I feel good about Spain. They remain my pick. I did have one point to make, though, on Cristiano Ronaldo. I ran the numbers. His scoring record in major tournaments, not good. Roundabout, I think, 12 goals in 34. Amazingly, and that's major tournaments, we mean, of course, Euros and World Cups. Amazingly, out of the teams that are actually at this World Cup, he's only scored once against them. That was against Iran way back in 2006, and that was a penalty. Now, you can read this two ways. Either it means that Cristiano is not a big game player and a guy who shirks away when the pressure is on, doesn't take the responsibility. But come on, we know that's not the case. Or you can take it as simply it's chance, it's luck, it's happenstance, and he's going to regress to the mean and score bundles of goals in this World Cup. I choose the latter. I kind of feel maybe this is where Cristiano gets his major tournament scoring average back in line with his scoring average for the Portuguese national team and, of course, for Real Madrid at club level. We'll see. Time will tell. Kickoff coming up very, very soon.
Uruguay just managed to sneak in a win over Egypt thanks to a late goal. They win that one 1-0. Shaka Hisop here with me. But of course, the big story is the man we were all hoping to see finally at a World Cup, Mohamed Salah, left on the bench, Shaka. So let's start there. How much is that going to haunt Egypt now?
Well, they're still in this tournament. I felt that a very bad result, coupled with Russia's result yesterday, could mean that Egypt already on their way out. They kept themselves in this one for a long time, and quite clearly Mohamed Salah's shoulder injury not as healed as I thought it would have been, because I thought he should have played a part, if not from the very start. I thought he should have been brought in.
Yeah, do you not just go in all guns blazing?
Well, that was
given that this is probably your tougher game.
That would have been my thinking, but again, maybe the thinking here going into this one is, get something out of this. Either we get a point or
against your toughest opponent.
We don't lose that, because what will then determine whether Egypt goes through or not is the next two games.
Yeah.
You're going to expect the other two teams in this group, Russia and Saudi Arabia, to both lose to Uruguay. That's your thinking going in. So therefore, keep your big guns for the last two games. But saying that, I thought Egypt defended very well, though they didn't create too many great opportunities themselves. And then later on, I thought an opportunity was missed in not bringing in Mohamed Salah, because I felt that Egypt just weren't keeping the ball up front. Uruguay were continuing to press and force Egypt, not nervy, but force Egypt into cheap mistakes. Free kick given away at the top of the box. Shanawi makes an incredible save from Cavani to push it onto the post. 2 minutes later, a cheap free kick given away yet again. And that is where the goal comes from. And that was the difference between Uruguay and Egypt. Uruguay, better of the two teams quite clearly, but Egypt, I just don't think, managed this game well enough when they gave themselves a foundation to get at least a point.
All right, well, let's have a quick look at the standings now, and we will see how things have shaped up. Granted, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, because we do know that we are only 2 games into this World Cup, but Russia with a massive 5-goal thrashing of Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay there in second place. Shaka, is this how it's pretty much going to stay, do you think?
A lot will be determined on match day 2. Excellent start by Russia. I certainly didn't anticipate as much, though you understand host opening day, the emotions. Saudi Arabia just didn't make anything of a match of this and then go and concede 2 goals very late on, and now all of a sudden Russia in in a fantastic shape going into that next game. Egypt do welcome back Mohamed Salah. Maybe that changes things for them. But right now, it looks like Uruguay and Russia, though I'm sure Egypt will be a whole lot better with Salah on the park and will have something to say about it.
All right, thanks so much to Shaka Hissap. Well, you can bet we will be tracking all the action from the World Cup right here at ESPN FC, so stay tuned.
Thumping, booming last-minute header by Jose Jimenez for Uruguay. Really important winner for them. Were they lucky? Were Egypt unlucky? I'm not so sure. I think Uruguay eventually battered down the door enough and created chances to win. Cavani had hit the post just before. Suarez missed a litany of chances. He really should have scored 2 or 3. So where does it leave these sides? I think Uruguay will be happy. They're off the mark. They've won probably their hardest game. They'll be very confident of getting at least 4 points from their next 2, I think, and you'd still bank on them to win the group. They'll be worried that Suarez was clearly not at his sharpest in front of goal. Didn't look that confident, actually. He had one chance where he really had to think about whether to round the keeper or not, and the ball was grabbed off his feet. That will be a concern. But they got the job done and they weren't threatened very much in defence, and it's something to build on. They were clearly very relieved at the end to win it. Egypt, a bit of a shame for them. No Mohamed Salah. I think when the winger Koraba came on in the second half, it was very clear that Salah was never really in the running for this game, no matter what Hector Keeper said yesterday. There was no point risking him for this one. They've got much more winnable, I think, fights ahead.
I think he will score everywhere. I think he's one of the best strikers in the world. So I only hope, and I think he will not score against us. So no, we will do our best. But he's an unbelievable striker. So I think I'm confident he will score whenever he wants.
And how do you think he'll cope with the pressure of captaining England? Do you think he'll take that in his stride?
I don't think it will be pressure for him. It will only give him more. I say this more. Confidence, you know, to achieve any more like the will to perform the way he wants.
So the final press conferences ahead of the opening Group C match between France and Australia are complete, and it was the usual game of cat and mouse between media and the team representatives. Hugo Lloris, the captain for France, got to field the first question, which gave perhaps a bit of an indication as to how the French media are feeling. They asked him whether concentration would be difficult over 90 minutes when his goal might only be troubled 1 or 2 times. Lloris took the question and fielded it in good humour with respect for the Australian strikers. However, it was Didier Deschamps that answered the questions about the French side itself, saying that all 23 players were fit and available for selection. There had been question marks over Djibril Sidibe and the knee knock that he took in their last match, and also Olivier Giroud, who has stitches in his head from a clash in that same match. But Deschamps said all players are fit and firing and available to play against Australia. He also addressed the fact that Griezmann had made a decision on his club and would be staying with Atletico Madrid, and Deschamps' opinion on that was that he was glad that he showed loyalty by staying with the club, but equally pleased that now Griezmann's head was clear and ready to concentrate on the World Cup. For the Australian side, the biggest surprise was perhaps that Matthew Leckie was put up for the press conference rather than usual captain Mile Jedinak or stand-in captain Trent Sainsbury, which raised questions over whether perhaps Jedinak would be playing. However, Bert van Marwijk was adamant that he too has 23 players fit and ready for selection. He did address the fact that he might be surprised if Australia were to win against the French, but he also said that avoiding a big defeat was of utmost importance. Either way, the time for talking is over, and only 90 plus minutes tomorrow will tell the tale.
Today's episode is sponsored by Shoes, from the makers of boots and socks.
Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Russia World Cup. We're here in Sochi. It's a momentous day, not just today, but on this day in history. On this day in 1992, Mo Salah was born.
Happy
birthday, Mo Salah. What a day for you, sir.
Yes.
And unbeknownst to the crew and Ian Five Ankles here, I've actually prepared a little something. I have made a cack for Mo Salah. The hundreds and thousands are, that's actually, I've put these on and spent all night doing this. That's for every assist he made in the Premier League this year. And all of these are the goals.
Are you insane?
So,
He's
what are you
not
talking
gonna
about?
want that. That's a crazy thing.
What
to
did you
have
do last night?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
It's day 2, but what happened on day 1? I will explain. I will explain.
All right.
All eyes were on the opening ceremony. Robbie Williams couldn't make it, so they got Morrissey to fill in. Saudi Arabia set about reminding everyone why a 48-team World Cup will be such a bad idea, with Russia's second strangely reminiscent of the testimonial goal that kid scored the other day, but obviously with worse defending.
So that's what happened on day 1. How does that affect your balls up ski points if you're playing at home? Ian will explain. Go over there and said, go over there, we've said this.
Can I do it here?
No, you go out because we're showing that we're in Sochi. Different.
All right. In a game full of errors and poor touches, we have an early Balzapski hero in Saudi Arabian goalkeeper Al Mayouf. Not only did he let in 5, he spent the whole game like a budgie in a noisy house full of toddlers, flapping at everything. Anthony had the Saudi Arabian players, so by default he's 1-0 up. Actually really nice here in Sochi.
Got a bit of assist on my trousers. Portugal versus Spain, that's what we're here in Sochi to see. It's been a carnivalesque day so far already. The atmosphere is incredible, and it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. How have you been enjoying yourself? What have you seen today?
There's a festival atmosphere, there's people in team colours, there's flags, it's been joyous.
Have you seen any pets or household animals dressed up in their team's kits? Because that's always funny in the World Cup.
I saw a chihuahua wearing a human-sized shin pad.
Who was he supporting, Portugal or Spain?
I don't really know, it was just like a shin pad, I thought, moving of its own accord down the pavement.
So it's just one face of a chihuahua and just a giant shin pad?
Just a bit of an ear stick.
So it's a shin pad walking down the street like that?
Pretty much, yeah.
You see all sorts of this World Cup.
That's what the World Cup's all about.
A lot of people are asking us what Sochi is all about. We've prepared this handy guide to this great
What's
host
Sochi
city.
all about?
Wonderful Sochi. Do you remember when the Winter Olympics were here?
I do, yes.
Yes, so do I.
Where's all the snow gone, though?
Well, actually, they store it during the summer in a shipping container. Look, there it is over there. Can you see it?
No.
Wonderful city. As we know, yesterday, Ian's tweet went viral. And today he has another big tweet. What have you got for us, Ian?
Ramos v Ronaldo. Tasty.
Hashtag? Tasty?
No, just tasty.
Just tasty. That's the beautiful thing about football journalism. You just state the obvious and it gets loads of likes and retweets.
No, there's far more artistry in it than that.
Portugal versus Spain is only the tip of today's football iceberg. Ian, talk through the whole programme as quickly as possible.
Well, Egypt versus Uruguay, all eyes on Mo Salah's shoulder.
Are they still sweating on him?
Sweaty eyes on his shoulder, yeah. Morocco v Iran, both teams are nicknamed the Lions, so it's lion on lion action.
Will those two lions cancel each other out?
Probably, yes, a goalless liony draw. And then, of course, Portugal v Spain, the big one.
How big is the rivalry between these two big dogs on a scale between the bottom, leaving a passive-aggressive note on somebody's car in a car park, all the way up to medieval jousters jousting for the attention and love of a fair maiden?
I'd say it's about there.
That is huge rivalry.
Yes.
Let me just hold your finger. That is huge. Can we get that on camera too? And of course, Balls Up Ski is the game we're playing throughout the tournament. It's anti-fantasy football, and here are the players we're watching today.
Oh, so I've been assigned Ronaldo. Just because he's one of the world's greatest players doesn't mean he's incapable of doing something utter guff and nonsense.
And for every annoyed look he gives to his teammates, you will get an extra point. Over on my side, I've got the big dog. There he is, Sergio Ramos. He is going to get points aplenty.
Not just windmill in.
Not just for disciplinary reasons, but for every time he cons the ref into thinking he's done something legal. Ian, what are your predictions for today's games?
Well, remember in the Euros final, we saw a moth land on Ronaldo's face. Horrific thing to happen.
Well, that sent him off the field.
It did, yes. So, because this is Russia, where things are kind of bigger and a little bit more threatening, expect to see a bat land on his face, and if something like an eagle perches on his bonce, that's bonus points.
What about a horse? Anything larger than an eagle? Horse?
A horse landing on Ronaldo's face, 50 points, straight up.
Incredible. What are you doing?
Right, this Mo Salah cake, according to this, he's done way more assists than goals. That's just nonsense.
Oh.
It's not even accurate.
Yeah, my bad. That's Kevin De Bruyne's cake.
Is it?
That is... When's his birthday?
3 days' time, I think.
That'll keep, won't it? That'll keep.
Touch and go.
See you tomorrow!
We're just 24 hours away from kick-off for the start of the Socceroos campaign at the FIFA World Cup 2018. We're joined by Australian assistant coach Ante Milicic, who has been through the entire qualification journey with this side. Ante, tell us about the new regime. What's different?
Yeah, I mean, look, with Ange leaving in November last year, and there's a little bit of a break there between the next window in March when Bert came in. It's been different because it's a short space of time to get new methods across, and I think Bert and his staff's done that really well. At the same time, being so close to a World Cup, the players have really adapted well, and I think they've bought into the new messages and the way of playing, and everyone's looking forward to the game tomorrow.
And Bert's been quite coy about who will be the starting 11 in his Atletico Australia side, but can you give us a hint as to whether we can expect any surprises?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a difficult one to say because we've still got the session today, the Famil one, the most important one really in the Matchday Stadium. So Bert will have a good look at it, but regardless of the starting 11 with playing such a quality opponent tomorrow, I think all 23 players have to be fit, ready and focused that they are going to start because just the 11 that come out there plus the subs that are going to be involved in the game are all going to be ever so important if we look to get a result.
And about that result, a win would be ideal, but what is considered a good result?
Oh, look, win is what we're going into the game for. We know we're playing a quality opponent with some very good individuals, but at the same time, we're looking ourselves as a very strong unit, a strong team that's disciplined, well structured. So we're looking on putting on a good performance. If we start looking at their lineup on paper as individuals, I think that makes it difficult for us. So we believe in ourselves. I think that's the way that we have gone about playing big opposition in the past, so we look forward to taking on France as a very strong collective unit.
Indeed, and in the past we've seen many versions of Australia. Do you think this one is about containment or entertainment?
A little bit of both. Probably need both.
How diplomatic.
Yeah, to get a result against France. Look, there's going to be difficult periods in the game. We know that. We understand that. That's where our focus has to be ever so strong, and the discipline has to be good. But again, it comes back down to us, how we approach the game.
Before we let you go, we saw Putin, of course, the head of Russia, and the Sheikh, the head of Saudi Arabia, shaking hands and having a good chinwag last night on the Saudi Arabia-Russia game. Now, I believe the Socceroos have heard from the Prime Minister of Australia this morning. How was that, and how has that affected the players? I'm really pleased to hear his good wishes.
Yeah, of course they are, and the nation's been fantastic. They always are behind us. We know everyone back home. The game's being played at a great time for everyone to watch. We've got good support here in Russia as well with our travelling supporters, and at the same time, we're fortunate. We've based ourselves here in Kazan. The first game here in Kazan, the locals have been great to us. So, we're thankful for the support, and the playing group's very determined to put in a good performance and keep everyone happy, but also make sure that they're proud of a really good Australian performance.
Indeed. Ante, thank you so much for your time. So close to kick-off. All the best, and we can't wait to see how Australia starts its campaign against France. 1 o'clock local here in Kazan tomorrow. We're just 24 hours away from kick-off for the start of the Socceroos campaign at the FIFA World Cup 2018. We're joined by Australian assistant coach Ante Milicic, who has been through the entire qualification journey with this side. Ante, tell us about the new regime. What's different?
Yeah, I mean, look, with Ange leaving in November last year, and there's a little bit of a break there between the next window in March when Bert came in. It's been different because it's a short space of time to get new methods across, and I think Bert and his staff's done that really well. At the same time, being so close to a World Cup, the players have really adapted well, and I think they've bought into the new messages and the way of playing, and everyone's looking forward to the game tomorrow.
And Bert's been quite coy about who will be the starting 11 in his Atletico Australia side, but can you give us a hint as to whether we can expect any surprises?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a difficult one to say because we've still got the session today, the Famil one, the most important one really in the Matchday Stadium. So Bert will have a good look at it, but regardless of the starting 11 with playing such a quality opponent tomorrow, I think all 23 players have to be fit, ready and focused that they are going to start because just the 11 that come out there plus the subs that are going to be involved in the game are all going to be ever so important if we look to get a result.
And about that result, a win would be ideal, but what is considered a good result?
Oh, look, win is what we're going into the game for. We know we're playing a quality opponent with some very good individuals, but at the same time, we're looking at ourselves as a very strong unit, a strong team that's disciplined, well structured. So we're looking on putting on a good performance. If we start looking at their lineup on paper as individuals, I think that makes it difficult for us. So we believe in ourselves. I think that's the way that we have gone about playing big opposition in the past. So we look forward to taking on France, as a very strong collective unit.
Indeed, and in the past we've seen many versions of Australia. Do you think this one is about containment or entertainment?
A little bit of both. Probably need both.
How diplomatic.
Yeah, to get a result against France. Look, there's going to be difficult periods in the game. We know that. We understand that. That's where our focus has to be ever so strong, and the discipline has to be good. But again, it comes back down to us, how we approach the game.
Before we let you go, we saw Putin, of course, the head of Russia, and the head of Saudi Arabia, shaking hands and having a good chinwag last night on the Saudi Arabia-Russia game. Now, I believe the Socceroos have heard from the Prime Minister of Australia this morning. How was that, and how has that affected the players? I'm really pleased to hear his good wishes.
Yeah, of course they are, and the nation's been fantastic. They always are behind us. We know everyone back home. The game's being played at a great time for everyone to watch. We've got good support here in Russia as well with our travelling supporters, and at the same time, we're fortunate. We've based ourselves here in Kazan. The first game here in Kazan. The locals have been great to us, so we're thankful for the support, and the playing group's very determined to put in a good performance and keep everyone happy, but also make sure that they're proud of a really good Australian performance.
Indeed. Ante, thank you so much for your time. So close to kick-off. All the best, and we can't wait to see how Australia starts its campaign against France. 1 o'clock local here in Kazan tomorrow.
So there's news out of the Nigeria camp, and it's not good. Defender Leon Balogun, one half of Nigeria's central defensive partnership, is down with an injury that he sustained on Wednesday. A scan was done yesterday, but so far results have not been out. Just had a quick chat with Nigeria coach Gernot Raw, and even though he's a bit coy about it, he's saying that it's not looking good. So the way it seems, Leon Balogun might not start for Nigeria. Instead, Kenneth Omeruo might be his replacement against Croatia.
We haven't been told who the official number 1 is yet, but getting the shirt's massive for me, and a massive honour really to have that number 1 shirt, and knowing how many great goalkeepers have worn that number 1 shirt in a World Cup for England, so that's massive, and I've got to think massively positive, and can't wait to take it forward. I don't feel affected by only having 3 caps. I feel ready to go and get more caps, and the only way you're going to get experience is playing, so I don't think you can say, oh, there's only 10 caps between us 3, and because you can only get, like I say, you can only get them caps by playing, and I'll be ready. I always feel like I'm in the game, and I'm always ready when called upon. I'm always communicating to the team and the players in front of us for that moment really, and like you say, I watched a bit of the Tunisia game. I think they played Portugal the other day in a friendly, and they are a good side, and I think they'll be underrated, and we've got to be ready, and Panama, so them the type of teams we'll be expected to have a lot of the ball, and we've got to create them chances. When we create them chances, we've got to take them and be ready to defend against them as well.
This is Andrea Shen. This is Project Russia.
The World Cup is finally here, and we've had caps predicting results. Moscow is filled with fans from all over the world. The big man has arrived, Zlatan.
Russia will to take over. As the what prediction? Because I'm here and that will make Russia win.
And I had the chance to sit down with Russian legend Andrei Arshavin.
will see one of the best World Cup, I think, regarding the hosting. Also, I don't know, you will see some beautiful or all beautiful cities, because people will love the tourists and everyone who will arrive. Maybe some drinks, you will also be tasty for you. I hope I will get the next stage at least.
So, Andre thinks Russia will get through the group stage. We'll have to wait and see. So it's 2-0 at half time and the Russian fans are loving it here. It's the second half.
Oh!